How's it going tonight, John?
It is going well. How are you, Eric?
I'm good. Today,
Back in the land of the trees?
yes, and almost back in the land of the no longer ill.
I'm sorry. Had a bad weekend, did
This
you?
weekend was unpleasant. It was unpleasant, but that's all right. I got a lot of reading.
Yeah, okay.
A lot of reading done.
But will you remember? That's the question.
I am remembering enough.
All right.
Just make it so I'll have to read the books again.
Racing
good.
to the end. Yeah. Well, they're the sort that I've read the first book, like probably 5 times, but the last couple books only once. So it's what happens when you read them when they're kind of coming out dribbles and drabs.
Right.
So, well, fun. I'm sorry that I'm sorry you had a bad weekend.
That's all good. It happens to I was going to say to the best of us, but it really happens to everybody. So best and the worst.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep my distance. Thank you. Please don't get me sick. I can't afford to be sick. Thank you very much. Still got a lot of stuff going on this month. Oh, what did I do? I mainly worked this weekend, worked around the place, which was actually really fun. It was kind of a relief. Oh, and I slept. Oh my gosh, did I sleep? Last week was pretty intense, pretty intense work week. So I think I had one night where I slept like 10 and a half hours this weekend. So I needed it. It was good.
Did you get your wall figured out?
I did. Let's see. I tried a couple of other things with the, when you see a nail gun, I mean, everyone has nail guns, the, pneumatic nail guns, but
right.
this was the powder actuated, use a 22 bullet nail gun to nail into concrete. And it just didn't work. I decided I would return it and buy a bigger one. but while I was
that's the way everything is fixed. Is just buy a bigger one.
it's probably you're not too terribly wrong, but I think sanity somewhat prevailed, because I don't know what I would do with it after I did this particular project. So I had the bigger gun in hand, or the bigger I guess nail gun in hand. And my wife was like, maybe you should see if you can rent that. And so I did. And I went over to the rental center and I'm like, hey, do you have one of these? And they said, not that exact brand, but we've got a actually bigger one. I'm like, oh, okay, show me. So yeah, for the grand total of $27, I fired exactly, oh shoot. Oh, yeah, I think it was 20 nails. So I got my money's worth, and then I returned it, and I'm done. I successfully avoided buying another tool, which is good, because you can.
I can appreciate how hard that probably was.
Well, yeah, I've got other things. If I'm going to buy a tool, I'm sure I've got other things that I would use more often. But yeah, so the walls are up. Most of the rafters are up. Let's see, I don't know. I did more just sitting and staring at the wiring, trying to figure out what I was going to have to do for wiring. But I didn't actually physically do anything. The other fun thing I did this weekend, though, is I planted a lemon tree.
A lemon tree?
Lemons. I didn't think lemons grew in Oregon. We're a little too far north. But actually,
yeah, I didn't think we did any citrus up here.
Yeah, and to be honest, maybe it'll die. I don't know. But when we were buying our Christmas tree, they had these citrus fruits that are from Japan. They look like lemons. They're a kind of lemon, I think. Shoot, now I've forgotten what it actually said. Maybe kudzu or something like that? Kudzu? I don't know. Anyway, looked like a lemon. And the nursery person, she said that they'll totally grow around here. And I was like, well, then I'm going to buy me a lemon tree. And so it's been it's actually been sitting out on the front porch for a couple weeks now, and I got it in the ground. So who knows? Hopefully it'll live. If it dies, it dies. Whatever. But hopefully it'll live, and that will be funky to be getting lemons. That would be cool. So anyway, we'll see.
Yeah,
it'll be fun. So,
all right.
Anything else fun to report?
No, not really. I'm hoping to have something fun to report next weekend.
Okay. All right.
Although my something fun today is actually, I think, kind of fun.
Okay. I did not click on the link intentionally, so I figured I'd click on it once we get there.
All right.
We'll see. All right. So let's get into the security part of the mostly security. Oh, this isn't quite security. I had one piece of follow-up. Semi-security. I view it as security. This is the back to my tractor right to repair
yes.
Warpath. So I saw a link that said farmers are buying 40-year-old tractors because they're actually repairable. And so, of course, that is clickbait for John. So I clicked on it, and the article's not very long. We could put it in here, but there's one of the quotes in here is, there's an affinity factor if you grew up around these tractors, but it goes way beyond that. These things, they're basically bulletproof. You can put 15,000 hours on it, and if something breaks, you can just replace it. Which...
imagine that.
Fancy. So,
something breaks and you repair it yourself. Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
The novelty.
And, I get, like, the new tractor fancy things are, they're doing, like, monitoring the soil in, like, square meter increments to apply just a particular amount of fertilizer, that kind of stuff. But, the level of investment, both initial investment and ongoing maintenance of those things is one of the things that drives people to, drives the quote unquote family farmer out of business. So,
right.
I don't know. The funny thing that resonated with me about this article was, my neighbor's got, I don't know how many tractors. It's this sort of thing where, I'm pretty proud I got a tractor. Well, my wife has a tractor and I drive it sometimes. But it's nice. It's awesome having a tractor. My neighbor, he's got, he has a tractor for each different job. So when he's
why change implements when you can just change tractors?
You were saying that as a joke. That's not a joke. Like when he's haying out in the fields next to us, he's got like 5 tractors out there, and he's hopping down from one and hopping into the next one and hopping out of that one and getting into another. And yeah, he's got one that has a rake on it, and one that has the baler on it, and one that has the bale hand on it, and one that's pulling the big long trailer that he's putting all the bales of hay on, and one that's a small one that's just towing a gas, like a trailer with a fuel tank on it. No, I am not kidding you. and none of them are newer than, I'm going to say, the 80s.
Right.
And, because
they're tractors he can repair.
Yeah, he fixes everything. As far as I'm aware, he fixes everything. So, which, I'm not worthy. But the other funny thing in this article, I thought, was that there was a quote in here that says, one sold for $40,000, another for $60,000. But just the way that the quote made it sound was as if tractors are interchangeable. Like one tractor is the same as another tractor. And let me just tell you, if you think, I don't know, running shoes or, cars have a lot of variability. Oh my gracious, tractors do. So, there's a huge difference between a, 20 horse baby tractor and a, 50, 60, 100 horse, you know, Big Daddy. So I don't know. So you can't just say, oh gosh, you got a steal of a deal. You only paid $10,000 for your tractor.
You only paid $40,000 for your tractor. I paid $60,000.
You're right.
You got the better deal.
No,
I gotcha.
Not enough info. But anyway, it's fun, and I'm keeping my eye on the whole right to repair stuff.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Well, should we jump into topics? Because my topic is actually really kind of the follow-up, the hack of the week kind of
I saw this
topic.
one. Yes.
Yeah, and I actually noticed you dropped it in Slack right before I dropped it in Slack, so I kind of am stealing this topic from you.
That's okay. Yeah, this was a good one.
Yeah, so the title of this article it's from TechCrunch. A billion medical images are exposed online as doctors ignore warnings. So,
say it isn't
once
so.
again, data about people is exposed online, and this one it claims to be over 1 billion medical images, and they're all over the place. And it seems to be that there is a very industry standard format for images, medical images, and then of course along with those is a very standard format for storing and archiving those images onto a server. So it's basically a specialized photo library is how I think of it. And the problem is that because these can be accessed from anywhere, a lot of doctors' offices just connect those servers, those specialized servers, directly to the internet without a password.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding me.
So if you know how to connect to or know how to use one of the apps that can read those images, the world is your oyster, as they say. So, and this article is pretty long. It talks about the various ways people use imaging. You can have patient history embedded in the ultrasound, a lot of text, and goes along with some of the, or not ultrasound, a lot of the images can be ultrasound. It can be pretty much anything. And so a lot of the data can expose actual names of the person and the different types of medical conditions they have. If it's, what they did for that medical condition, and there's a couple of images that are blocked out. So what's interesting to me is all this data falls under,
HIPAA.
U.S. HIPAA law, and the TechCrunch notified and contacted a number of these places that had those servers exposed online, and they all declined to comment, which I'm sure is under their lawyers told them not to say anything, but they're still available online a lot of time.
Wow.
Even though we have all the laws in place, this stuff still can get out there, and it's not surprising, I suppose, but it's frightening how prolific, maybe is the word, that these kind of mistakes can be even after all this time. We've had now years of breach notifications and this kind of stuff happening, and I know that governments and health insurance companies and these types of companies are trying, they have to submit annual reviews of their systems and prove that they are doing everything they can to follow HIPAA, the security rules in HIPAA and keeping data secure and private. Yet even today, you've got 1 billion medical images exposed online.
There was one comment in here that says the government fined one Tennessee-based medical imaging company $3 million last year for exposing a server containing over 300,000.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't say images, it says protected patient data.
Right. Yeah, so it continues, and I don't know what it's going to take to fix the problem. So,
well, I would say a lot of fines, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's I mean, the two things that really motivate companies are, violations of the law, like consequences, and especially executive consequences. So
yes,
when, for fraud, for company finances and stuff like that, the CFO and the CEO, they're signing that this is true, and, they can be held, criminally liable. And yeah, I would say that's my opinion.
It continues to be disappointing that this is as easy to find as it is.
Yeah.
So, on that disappointing note.
Yeah, okay. Bummer.
What do you have?
Thank you. So I have two topics. So the first topic, though, it was going to be my topic last week, but it was awesome having Raj on the podcast. And by the time we got to where we would be bringing up my topic, we were already, 40 minutes into the episode. And so we just kind of went on to something fun. But I thought this was still worth.
Yeah, it was a fun discussion last week.
Out. It was fun. That was great. But so my topic that I had intended to talk about last week was about a change to the way Chrome in version 80 is going to start handling or change how they handle cookies. So in particular, there's basically this attribute that you can add to a cookie now that says basically what to do about the sending it to the same site. So today, or they've added this attribute. It's called same site, and if a cookie doesn't have this attribute, then it's basically set to none. And if it does have the attribute, you can actually explicitly set the attribute to none, lax, and strict. And so today, if a cookie doesn't have a same site, the behavior defaults to none. But really what Chrome's going to do in version 80 is they're going to change the default behavior if you don't explicitly set it to none and default to lax, basically, which has some implications for people that maybe have built sites a long time ago before this attribute was available. And if they are expecting behaviors that are not going to be the default anymore, they won't work. And this is for security purposes in general, but so where this really matters is it defaults for what the behavior is for when cookies will be sent when doing gets or posts between sites. And so strict can basically only be sent back to the site if the origin is from the same site. And then, so I think the deal with Lax is that the browser tries to be a little bit smart. So basically, Lax cookies will get sent with GET requests. So but not with POST requests. So in general, it's their way of trying to maintain some level of backward compatibility. That if they went all the way to strict, if they flip flopped from none to strict as the default, then everything would break. Many things would break. But by doing this, they can kind of try to protect against the worst of cross-site requests by not sending the lax cookies if the request isn't from the same origin. But they can continue to have it work for GETs. And, most web requests are GETs, and so it should mostly still work. But then there's also a few subtleties that I'm probably not really grokking because I'm not doing much web development these days. But if you're inside a iframe inside a site, even the GET requests don't give the lax cookies. So
Well, I was wondering if this also has any implications towards data collection or ad networks that leverage a bunch of data collection by snarfing up a bunch of cookies. I don't know.
I
That
would
was
I would say probably not, because they're so motivated that they'll probably happily put, cookie same site equals none. you
ah
know. So I mean there's a pretty big door for somebody who explicitly wants to be uh, cavalier about it, that they can just put it in, which I don't know, in my conspiracy part of my head, that Google wouldn't want to do something that would prevent them from being able to do a lot of that tracking. So, but at the same time, it is good that sort of the default stance is improving. So anyway, the link I'll post in here in the notes is to a long article by Troy Hunt. Has the cool thing is, down at the bottom of it, he set up a number of sites with requests so that you can actually go in with a browser, load up the dev tools, and then see what cookies are being sent to the server in different configurations. So kind of handy. And there is, let's see, Chrome has a setting in current versions. This won't be the actual default behavior until Chrome 80, which is supposed to come at the beginning of February, but the features do exist in current builds, and you can turn them on by setting a flag. So there's instructions in there. So you can actually test out the new behavior today if you want to. Anyway, so that was my first thing. I thought that was kind of a cool thing coming down the line. Improve the default stance of security for sites.
But in theory, that's only Chrome and Safari, and is Microsoft its Edge now? Is that what we're calling it? Or Firefox? Those will either have to pick up the same thing. Is this a Chrome thing, or is this a... I looked through the article. I didn't see like an IETF or some kind of RFC or some standard that they're just doing first.
Yeah, at the bottom of the article, there's a paragraph that says, this changed cookie behavior looks like it's going to stick and extend beyond just Chrome. There's an IETF draft for incrementally better cookies by specifying Lax by default. And which is essentially what this behavior is, and that Mozilla has an intent to implement the same behavior. So it's
got it.
This seems like a pretty sensible measure.
Yep. Cool.
Okay.
All
my
right.
second topic.
Patch Tuesday.
So today we happen to be recording on Tuesday. That's because I will be on a plane tomorrow night. So. Today, the funny thing to me about Patch Tuesday and about this is that literally my dad sent me an article to the Krebs article from the other day that was saying, "Oh, there's a big patch coming," which to be fair, there is one. Well, so today's January Patch Tuesday. There's 49 fixes in Patch Tuesday. And the other big thing is that today is the end of life for Windows 7. So this is the last roll-up patch for Windows 7, I think, unless you pay for extended support. But it's been a long time since I've loaded up anything on Windows 7. So
that was the last good Windows until 10.
Okay. It is what I last mainly used, yeah. But
well, we went from 8 to 10. We just kind of skipped 9 because
7, 8, 9. Okay.
Ba-dum-bum.
Yeah, ba-dum-bum. I love that. I love that song. There's a Bare Naked Ladies song on their kids album that is
yes,
7, 8, 9. It's awesome. Okay. Anyway, let's see. So the specific vulnerability that's causing a bunch of furor is the 2020 CVE 2020-0601. And the reason is because this was actually disclosed to Microsoft from the NSA. And it is about a vulnerability in the Crypt32 DLL, or the crypto API, how it validates elliptic curve certificates. So, so the exact quote from Microsoft is, an attacker could exploit the vulnerability by using a spoofed code signing certificate to sign a malicious executable, making it appear the file was from a trusted, legitimate source. So, I mean, the whole point of AuthentiCode, or the whole point of code signing, is to lock down at execution time, only allowing signed valid code to run. And, there's features in newer versions of Windows like WDAC that they have policies that say, only software from, these vendors can run, etc. And if you can fake that, then that's not good. That's not good at all. So there is no exploit in the wild for this, as far as we know. But given that the vulnerabilities just disclosed, and there's a patch available, we can expect that it'll be exploited soon. So there's a big rush to encourage everyone to patch. In fact, I don't think I copied it out, but there was a quote in the article that DHS released only their second ever emergency notification to other agencies to patch. Let's see. The one other thing I pulled out about this was, I pulled this out because I thought this was totally ironic, given some of our other conversations, but is accurate, I guess. How do you mitigate this? Well, one way to mitigate it is to, because it can also be used for SSL certificates. So one way to mitigate it is have a network device doing man in the middle, because the network device is probably not running Windows, doesn't have the same stack on it, and won't be subject to the vulnerability, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the exact quote was, network devices and endpoint logging features may prevent or detect some methods of exploitation. That's a very wishy-washy statement. So I would interpret that as network devices may prevent, and endpoint logging features may allow detection of the exploitation.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah. So the second part was properly configured and managed TLS inspection proxies, aka something that's doing break and inspect. Independently validate TLS certificates from external entities and will reject invalid or untrusted certificates. So I thought that was pretty fun. So if you are running I guess another comment about this is, this is only valid for, now I don't remember. It's recent versions of Windows. So it's not everything. I want to say.
Right. I saw the list. They were mostly Server 2019, like more recent version.
Yeah. The ECC.
And more recent patch levels.
Yeah. ECC wasn't added to the crypto API until Windows 10. Sorry, I'm scanning through here.
I don't remember.
Yes, here we go. So Windows 10, Server 2016 and Server 2019. So, yeah. So if you're running older servers, or which you probably shouldn't be at this point, 2016. I mean, 2012 still in support, I guess, but yeah. Fun. Wow. So there's hopefully many people around the world scurrying to get things patched today.
Patch servers.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. How about we do something fun? That's right. Oh, that's right. You told me you had a super fun thing. I'm now curious.
Something fun is AIDungeon.io.
Can I click on the link?
So if you go to AIDungeon.io, it's basically the old text-based role-playing, you walk into a room, what do you see? Open door, all that, except it's run on AI, so you can actually give it the storyline you want it to do. So when it starts, it says, give us 3 sentences. What do you want to do? And what do you want to explore? Anyways, so I will tell you mine. So I put, you are a security researcher in Oregon. You are hunting the black hats who have been terrorizing the world. You sit down at your desk, launch Kali Linux, and see ... and hit enter. And the story begins. The screen goes blank for a moment. Then you hear a loud beeping noise followed by a long series of beeps. The computer shuts off. So I typed, reach around back to check the power cable. You grab the power cable from behind your chair and pull it out of the wall outlet. You plug it into the laptop. You hear a click and feel a tingle as if something is touching your arm. As soon as you turn on the machine again, all of this disappears. So I type, launch Metasploit. The screen flashes. Meta as you press enter. Then you see an image of a box with 2 arrows pointing left and right. Clicking on one arrow brings up a menu that looks like this. Click on the first arrow to bring up the menu. So I type, click the first arrow. You select exploits and then click the second arrow. This opens a window that looks like this. This is the Metasploits command prompt. It has lots of options, but most people just use the question mark to get help.
What?
And I said, select the second option. And the answer that comes back, a new window appears. In this window, you can type a command or run programs. Here are some examples. MSFCLI / list installed modules, MSF payload Windows meterpreter reverse TCP L host equals 192.168.1. And then I says, type help. You type help and hit return. This displays a list of available exploits. You select the one called reverse TCP shellcode execution. The meterpreter process now starts up and you wait while it runs through its normal steps. And then I typed, use reverse TCP shellcode execution to attack remote server. You try to connect to the target server using the exploit. The connection succeeds, so you continue to wait. Then suddenly the meterpreter stops responding. There is no error message or anything. So I typed, have I been compromised? You look at the meterpreter process and see that it is not running anymore. It hangs there with a red exclamation mark above it. It seems strange that you could be attacked by someone else, but you don't know what to do about it. So I said, pull the power cord out of the wall. You quickly unplug the power cord and throw it away. You think about how you never used the computer before and didn't realize it was plugged into the wall until now. So now I'm like, all right, now let's see what happens. Go get some ice cream. You walk over to the refrigerator and open it up. You take out a large tub of vanilla ice cream and sit down in front of it. You start eating the ice cream as fast as you can, which takes forever as you're still thinking about what happened earlier today.
That's what it said.
Check Instagram. I had just a couple more. Check Instagram. You feel very tired. You turn your head and see the sun is setting behind the mountains. Your eyes hurt from staring at them for so long. You remember something that happened today. You were watching TV and then you heard a loud noise outside. Look out the window. You look out the window and see a bright light shining directly on the house. Your heart begins to race as you sweat profusely. Then you hear an alarm going off inside your house. You grab the phone and call 911. Report being hacked by lasers. You hang up the phone and notice that the lights in your living room are flickering. This must be caused by the laser beam coming from the outside. Anyways, it keeps going, and you can it just goes wherever you want.
That's funny.
But it's
basically taking whatever you're saying and then doing a Markov chain or something like that to figure out a response.
Yeah, some kind of, Google. I mean, because you can make your story about anything. I've seen where I saw this was, I don't remember which Twitter feed I saw, but they were working in Xcode. And so all the stuff, the whole story was about them working in Xcode and the thing responding saying, well, you want to do this in Xcode and you're mad at Xcode for doing this now. Xcode, exits with a, error and it gives you like an iOS error. So it's very entertaining. So That's my something fun. Kind of this old text-based, choose-your-own-adventure story.
Okay, that's fun. That's cool. All right, well, I'll play.
You do have to actually register and create an account.
I see
and
get
a username and password.
Email address.
Yeah, so it was entertaining.
Funny. Okay, my something fun this week was actually blog. Kinda, from Ian McKellen, who played Gandalf in The Lord of the Rings. So I saw somebody, actually don't quite know how this came up. I think it was because of Stephen Colbert, actually, which I'll tell you in a second. But so he says, 20 years ago, I arrived in New Zealand to begin filming The Lord of the Rings. I joined the cast on January 10th of 2000. During that time, I kept a journal, which today would be called a blog. Perhaps you'll enjoy reading about those heady times. And then he has a link. And so there was some funny things about this. So I must have seen this pretty quick after it happened, because I tried to go to the page and oh my heavens, was it slow. So, I read like part of one of the pages that came up. I couldn't really click on anything else. So I just, threw the link into our Slack and figured I'd check it out later. So I come back to, check things out. And one of the replies, I thought this was funny. One of the replies to him was, Ian, can I please build you a website that handles all these people trying to read it, please? I don't know where it was hosted, but by the way, if you go and read it now, it is much faster, like much faster. So either he changed hosts. I do notice that a lot of the, let's say, late 90s GeoCities-ish frou-frou around it was gone. So
I know. My first comment was, hey, the 90s called. They want their website back.
Well, you should have seen it. You should have seen it when it wasn't working well. But the other funny thing about this was, and the reason I actually saw it is, do you ever watch Stephen Colbert?
Yes.
The Late Show? So, he's a mad Tolkien fan. I mean, I don't know how you could watch Stephen Colbert without knowing that, because he occasionally waxes philosophic about, really obtuse or obscure references. If somebody makes a a Lord of the Rings reference to him, he goes all, "Are you in my house?" So anyway, so the thing that I saw was, Stephen Colbert tweeted responded to Ian McKellen's link with a, hey Dingus, cancel my plans this weekend. Because I thought that was funny. So my something fun is, go check out. There's not that many pages to it. If you actually look, I mean, he only did maybe 15.
It really hurts my eyes.
Yes.
It's got the original Instagram logo, the original Twitter logo. I guess maybe the second version of the Twitter logo. And, the rough edges around the images are not.
So Webmaster, he is not, or whoever he has doing his stuff is not. But that's not what you're here for.
Hey, good on you.
You're here for the content.
That's right.
You're here for the
That's
content.
Right.
So
that's right. But this is awesome. I read the first couple. I saw that, and I had read the first 2 or 3 pages, and I'm with Stephen Colbert. Cancel my plans this weekend. I know what I'm reading. Yeah. They're interesting.
It's fantastic, isn't it? And then he also has, for most of the links, he has like, half a dozen photos. So the one I happen to be looking at is all the photos say photo by Ian McKellen. And right. I mean, remember they're being taken by a camera from 2000, so
yeah,
they're pretty low res.
Fun stuff though. I mean, it's just kind of fun.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was awesome.
A peek. So
check it out. And if you haven't watched the movies, I love the movies. And if you don't love the movies, bite me.
Go read the books, then watch the movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. There we go. That's a show.
All right.
What do you think?
That was fun.
Sounds good. Alrighty. Now I can edit it on the plane tomorrow.
There you go. Have a good night, John.
All right. Talk to you later.
See you later.
Bye.